I think I was talking to an agent on kind of lead scheduling basics, and he was someone who wanted to really get ramped up quick, and the kind of the typical methodology of running leads and operating. It's the paradigm that we're in as far as I call it the FFL model. That's where we adopted it, even though they came from us, came the Alliance. There's stuff that we do. So the whole idea with lead scheduling, let me see if I can. Oh, I know. I should have set this up before. Wow, there it is. Hold on. Actually, getting better on notability. A little bit better anyway. So the typical scheduling for people that want to get into an efficient, I don't know if we call it efficient. Well, I do mean to call it efficient. It's kind of the efficient way of scheduling your appointments, particularly when you're doing in-home appointments. Telesales is a whole nother deal, but kind of the in-home appointment idea is, so the schedule is Monday is dial day to book 10 appointments on Tuesday and 10 appointments on Wednesday. And then Thursdays are dial days to book 10 appointments on Friday and 10 appointments on Saturday. So this is the 40 appointment a week mode, right? Okay. And 40 appointments a week. So the kind of the numbers, if you do it consistently, let's say you have let's just use conservative numbers. So I don't want to pie in the sky. So let's say you have a 60% show rate, which really isn't that good. A good agent who ties down really well should get a 75% show rate. Well, let's just say 60% show rate. So that equates to 24 appointments, okay? Then 50% close rate when you're doing in-home appointments. So this is booked to show to close. You'll close half, 12, right? And then the number of apps historically is 1.2 apps. So this equates to 1.2 apps per home. This is app count. Okay, remember I'm a nerd, so times 1.2. That should be about 14. Again, we're going to round down, 14.4 apps. So you get 14 applications. The average application in our hierarchy is running at about 750. So 750 times 14. So you're looking at about 10,500 premium, okay? So this is the idea. So how do you do enough leads to get 40 appointments? People are, let's just go on the high end and be conservative. They're probably investing about $1,000 per week to get to 40 appointments. And that's on the high end. We've got people doing that on $800, but let's just say 1,000. Some agents are just, they'll do 2,000 to get 40 appointments a week. But again, like I said, the show rates are the show rates. We're about 50% closed. Like good closers are going to get 75%. Again, I've dumbed it down. So this is where we get the notion of 1,000 lead investment yields to 10,500. Okay, in So you multiply what your commissionable premium is on that, and that's what it is. And so are you going to get a return on investment? So let's say you're at, that's all. So let's say you're, on term, you're going to get, let's say you're at a 85% contract, you get 85. On whole life, it's 75. So let's just say, like if you're 85 commission rate level. So the commissionable premium on this, let's say is, okay, you're going to have 10,500 times 0.75 placement. That's 78.75. Okay, times. So let's say your commissionable premium is 90% of that. 787 times, and you're at 85. So you're 85 contract. So you're looking at your total commission is 6024, and then your advance times 75% times 0. So I'm just doing this on the fly. So I'm not trying to 75% advance. So 4518. Okay, is really what you'd be putting in the bank. If you do 10,500 again after placement, and really, literally, that's why the 75% that's conservative on persistency, like really conservative on persistency. So again, all the low numbers. So 1,000 to get 4,500. What is that? A 4.5 return on investment. If you went to Vegas, you'd want to do. You want to do this all day long, right? Turn $1,000 into $4,000. Okay. So not a bad return on investment. And again, this is if you're consistent and you're not the best closer in the world, you're not the best tie down person, tying down appointments, and then your referrals are not, you're not doing any referrals. Okay. So this is kind of the mode, right? Now, we got some agents that are on the 30 appointment per week deal. So the 30 appointment per week are the people that just want to work on Monday through Friday. So they're not doing, they book Thursday and they just run appointments on Friday. So their goal on Thursday is to book appointments on Friday and then have Saturday and Sunday free. For people that just want to amp up their production, and they can go 40 appointments a week. So that's really the explanation of how to do the 40 appointment per week deal. And then, you're pumping leads in your machine. It's really your factory, your production factory, but you are the one, right? You're the one that makes all this happen. And so, let's talk about lead strategies. So you have to order enough leads to be able to do it. So this is your, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then your Friday and Saturday, right? And so kind of the idea being you got different locations that you're running leads, okay? And so if you order enough leads and you have enough lead inventory to call, then let's say you work in 4 different areas that are far away, from each other. You got this county A, this, B, C, and D. And these are like this, to go from one to the other could be an hour, right? Maybe these are half an hour, but it could be an hour from one to the other. If you went from here to here, it could be 2 hours. So you're talking about a wide area where you're getting leads, right? So if you got a big inventory, if you're dialing on Monday, let's say you booked at 9 a.m. in area A here, then what you want to do is you want to book the rest of that morning in area A. The rest of your morning appointments in A. And then let's say, then you can look at maybe your afternoon or evening appointment. Let's say, so you book a few appointments in the morning, and then you cross over to the next county. Let's say that's at 3 p.m. Then you book your 3 p.m. appointments on to, 8 p.m. or whatever in area B. So you kind of split it out. And then Wednesday, you're, do the AM appointments here, PM appointments here. You can only do that efficiently when you have a bunch of lead inventory. What I said about inventory, it's not only the new leads you received this week, it's the leads you didn't resolve from the week before, from the week before, older leads. So if you were going to focus and you found that your morning appointments were here, I'd be pounding the other leads from previous to fill these days up in these regions. Again, same thing here. Let's say you got your AM appointments, maybe you got your PM appointments here. Maybe you got transition appointments that take you from here and then here to here. So this is AM, this is late morning, late AM, and then here. So there's a lot of thought that goes into making your appointments very efficient, because what you don't want is you don't want to be zigzagging, and you can only realistically run 3 appointments a day because you're zigzagging all over the areas that you're running in. And the people that do that are the ones that don't order enough leads, right? Okay. So there's this combination of lead management, lead scheduling, right? But the bottom line is to get enough where you can do enough, because frustration is not having enough. And then you're doing the zigzaggy thing. It just is not, it's frustrating. Okay. So this is, kind of the reality of wanting to be in high production. Now, I hear this all the time. Well, I don't have that money to do that. Okay, great. Because I don't expect you to start, investing in, that many leads per day. And so again, this is in-home appointment mode. But can you invest anything? Because then here's kind of the idea of ramping up your production. So, if we know that $100 lead investment should turn into $1,000 in production, that's kind of the rule of thumb. Again, it's not every week. Like 1 week's going to be better, 1 week's going to be worse. 1 week's going to be better, 1 week is going to be worse. And so here you go. You've got a stream of experience that justifies the numbers. So just like in any business, when you open up a business, you don't close a business after a week, right? You don't close your business after a month. You let your business run, right? And then you tweak it along the way to get profitable. So remember, this is a business that you own and run, and your ability to get coaching and get mentorship to help tweak it is what we do for you. So we're going to help you do, okay? Now I'm going to show you a way to get out of the lead grind, but sometimes you have to start with the lead grind, and you got to start at some level, right? So all I would want someone to start doing is, look, if you got $100 a week that you can put into leads, $400 a month, let's go $100 a week, and let's get you any kind of lead that we can get you, right? So here's the idea is week number 1, you invest in $100, okay? And let's say, I'm going to try to make this realistic. I'm not going to try to make this pie in the sky. Let's say you get 0 production out of it, because you're only able to buy, some of our older TLP leads, not older, but TLP leads for like $7.50 or $9. So $100 worth of those. Let's just take the $9 low $9. So that's what. That's 11. So add 11 of those. Let's say you get nothing. So week number 2, you got another $100. So we'll get you another 11. So you got 22, right? Really what we're seeing is, let's say you're only getting a 10% conversion on those, right? It's really more like 10 to 20% conversion. So out of 22, say 15. So let's say you get like 2 sales, okay? So that's 1,500 in premium. Okay, and let's say your net commission, let's say one sticks. Let's say you make $300 out of all that. So you got $300, okay, to put into your business. So week number 3, let's say it took you, a week to get that issued, so you don't have that yet to put into your business. So you got another 100 that you committed to. Let's say you make one sale out of that $100 worth of leads. That's 1,000. Okay, so let's say you make $200. I'm just trying to be conservative. Okay, but this $300 comes in, right? So here's what I'd say you should do with $300. Don't go out and buy dinner for your spouse. Don't go spend that money on bills. This is what you want to do. You want to 4, 5, and 6. You want to add this 300 to what you're currently doing. So now week 4, you've got 200, because you committed to 100 a week, 200. So you put that 300 back into your business. So out of 200, let's say you make 3 sales, right? And so let's say that's 2,500. Okay, I'm keep saying this, but it's true. 2,500, and that's let's say you make $900. Okay, and then let's say the next 200 is one sale, so that's 1,000. Let's say you make $300 off that. This is 2 sales, 1,500. Let's say that's $500 on that. Okay, again, I'm just like being mega, because you had some declines. Okay. Well, by the time you get to probably this week here, this $900 kicks in. Okay, so what do you do? Well, what I would do is week 7, 8, and 9, I might put $300 a week added on to the 200. Okay, so you've already spent the 300. You got the 200 kicking in, right? That can go here too. So now let's say you've got enough to do 500 a week with some spare cash reserves. Now you're at 500. Okay, do you see what's happening here? So like out of 500, let's say you make, 5 sales, 4 sales, 6 sales. Okay, so, and then the commissions you earn here, 10, 11, 12. Now let's say you bump it up another couple hundred. Again, you're not spending all your money that you've made, but you're, and then week 13, 14, 15, maybe you are seriously at $1,000 a week. Okay, so within 15 weeks, you start at 100. You leveraged and reinvested, So now you're getting the return on investment. Okay. Now, this is ramping up to lead investing and scheduling, right? And this is in-home appointments. We'll talk about telesales in a minute. But I want to kind of give you an idea of how you can go from $100 a week to $1,000 a week, because we make a lot of money selling insurance, gang. I mean, come on, really? When you think about the commissions we make and the types of policies we sell, if you're not making money in insurance, that's a you problem, because the carriers are out there that pay the commissions on it. Okay, and you're going to have declines. You're going to have people that won't take their policy chargebacks, but we keep them to a minimum. And notice I really just was conservative on what you're going to make from that, right? Now, the question is, how do I get myself off this lead grind? How, from investing $1,000 a week in leads? Well, here's how you do it. So you start getting smart on ERS. So week 16, let's say, you spend $1,000, you made your sale, okay? But then you come out with, per client, let's say you put around 5 clients, you ought to get at least 10 ERS names from, you should get 20 per client, but let's say you only get 10. So 10 ERS, that's 50 ERS numbers. Okay, so now you've got all these people to call that you can convert into sales. So week 17, right? Let's say you're putting another $1,000 in, and now you're working in these calls into your schedule, and now you're making some sales off of these leads, right? But then you add the ERS sales, right? Now, guess what? Let's say now let's say you close 7 people, 2 of which were from the ERS, times 10, that's 70 names. That's 70 people to call, right? So week 18, let's say you drop it down to 500, and then you made 5 sales plus 5 sales on ERS, right? These are ERS sales, okay? So then from there, that's 10 times 10, that's 100 names. And you're pounding the phone on Mondays and Thursdays. If you got 100 names, do you think you could probably book some appointments? So week 19, again, let's just ramp it down to 250. From here, let's say you don't do any more. You just have it, you're doing, 3 off the leads, and then you've got 10 off of ERSs. Now that's 13 times 10. That's another 130 names, right? Pretty much by week 20, you don't got to do anything on leads. And then you're selling like what? 15 policies, 15 families times 10, that's 150 names. See how this kind of goes on? Then week 21, you're just deciding how much business you want to write, right? And you aren't spending any more money in leads. So you see how this ramp up idea, you ramp up to learn how to manage your time and schedule. You're getting a return, a 4x return on investment. And then you start kicking in the ERS, and maybe you're working more because you got to call through a bunch of names. But I have an automation system that you can upload all the ERSs in our automation system that will then text them and email them like it's coming from the client. I'm not going to go into that, but so this is the whole idea of ramp up, ramp down. Does that make sense, gang? Alex, I just want to sell over the phone. Okay, man. Well, I would recommend, on the telesale side, get the cheapest leads you can get. Okay, our cheapest lead is $750 for a telemarketed lead. We got a little bit better quality at $9, and then we've got $12 local telemarketed leads. If you're going to do telesales, man, I wouldn't recommend, paying for a $35 to $70 mortgage protection lead, because direct mail is more expensive. Higher intent, but it's more expensive. I would stay right here at super cheap leads, internet search leads. Again, what I would do with all those is I would upload those in our automated CRM system that will text them, and you can have 3-4 appointments automatically booked on your calendar. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about just if you're a telesale. So the whole telesale idea really is this. You have to, it's phone time all the time, okay? So everyone says, well, the advantage of telesales, I don't have to go to the home and I don't have to drive. Absolutely, that's the advantage, okay, absolutely. But realistically, our close rates is about 25%, to 35% roughly on the first appointment, if you can do a first appointment, okay? When you have to book an appointment, okay, the show rates are running about 50%, so half show up. So the idea is for telesales is to do the appointment right there when you get them on the phone. If you have to book an appointment, I'd say book it within 6 hours or by the next morning. If you book it beyond that, the no-show rate goes through the roof. So telesales is an opportunity sale, and you got to take every opportunity to quote the client and close them on the first contact. If you got to book them, the show rate is 50% at best, and then the close rate's still like maybe 25 to 35%. Now, what's the important thing about the telesale is you have to follow up. So wouldn't it be cool if you had an automated system to automatically follow up with people? You're going to bring your close rate up to maybe 50% if you are diligent at following up with your clients that you don't close, right? Because your close rate's lower. So what does this mean? This means that there is no Monday booking for Tuesday, Wednesday. There's no Thursday booking. There is just phone time. Phone time is business time. And so, like, if you're serious about booking, if you want to write like 2 to 3 apps a day, okay, you're going to need to you're going to be needing to talk to 10 to 15 people. When you get them on the phone and you're doing a presentation or you're booking, 10 to 15 to 20 people a day to get 2 to 3 sales per day. So the question is, how long does it take you to do that? And so if you're going to commit to telesales, it is a job. It's a job. I would start at 8 a.m. I wouldn't plan on getting off the phone until 8 p.m. Like, I'm not kidding. Because you need to know what it takes to make a sale. 8 a.m., it's a 12-hour day. Okay, that's what you have to commit to. Because if, 2 to 3 per day times 5, let's say you work 5 days a week, not 6, you're looking like 10 to 15 apps, right? And then you're in that same category up here, 10 to 15 apps, right? Here, okay? But this is where you really need automation. Automation is your friend. And some of our automated systems will help you do this without being as much on the phone. But I mean, it's like Monday through Friday. This is your schedule. If you can back off if you want, if you can, you want to do a 10-hour day, you can do an 8-hour day, but you're going to get what you're going to get. Okay. And if you start getting good, here's the thing that some people do. They get their 3 sales by noon, and then they take the rest of the day off. It's like, dude, seriously? Because tomorrow, you might not get any sales. Okay. See, this 12-hour day is 12 times, let's say you work 5 days, that's 60 hours on the phone. I promise you, 60 hours will equal, over time, it's going to equal a result of issue pay premium, right? Okay, if you do 6 hours times 5 days, 30 hours. Now, let me ask you a question. If you do half the hours, what do you think is going to happen to your premium? It's going to be this divided by 2, right? Seriously, that's what it is. And you may have to, maybe your lead investment's going to be the same. But what you trade for convenience, you trade time, you trade grinding. But if you're not doing the follow-ups, you're losing on a whole bunch of sales that you can close. And what I mean by follow-ups, you have a system in place where you are calling them back. Hey, this is Alex. We met last Tuesday about that final expense program. Hey, what are you guys thinking about that? Right? So what I mean by automation. So we've got this automated system where we upload first name, last name, cell, phone number, and email, okay? And then we follow up with them daily. We can do 20, 30 a day. They'll send out emails and texts, and then it just keeps, hitting your database And then what comes out the other end are appointments where they book on your calendar, automated manner. And then we set up it could be like a text and an email alternating every day to automatically follow up with people. And then you can actually upload all your leads on there and then have people just book on your calendar. So there are ways to make this, whether it's telesales or in-home sales, there are ways to make it more efficient using our automated systems. And we're talking maybe $50 to $100 a month in getting signed up on something like that. And we can hire programmers that will help with the sequences. Okay. But bottom line is, if you want to make your business efficient, this is the way to do it. Okay. Don't fear the investment side because you're going to make your money back. Fear not investing. Fear the mentality of not putting money in your business to get money out of it. Correct. All right. So this is the typical, final expense, maybe mortgage protection. We've got all the different lead systems out there. We've got we call them TLP leads, the telemarketing leads. We have the Integrity instant internet leads. These are typically Google search leads. These are cheap, really cheap. We've got the Facebook leads. These are maybe $20, 15 to $20 each. We have direct mail that's like maybe 40 to 70. Okay. So we got a variety of lead systems out there. There are different lead vendors, like Lead Gorilla is a good company. They've got instant direct transfer. Okay, direct transfer leads. So when they get people on the line, they directly transfer them to you. Except you got to be waiting there, sitting, waiting for calls. And if you're only licensed in 3 states, you're only going to get so many, right? But there are companies out there, really good companies that can help you with that. But just like in any lead that you're running, you got to give it a chance to work, and then you have to develop your skill to make them work. Each lead company, each lead vendor, the reason why a lot of them have been in business a long time is there are agents that are using them that aren't getting results. Okay. Now we've got 2 IUL vendors. Yeah, one's an annuity. Okay, this is more expensive. Their leads actually ends up being about $35 for a good IUL lead, and we're getting some traction on it. 35 to 85. It's a little bit bigger investment, but the returns are huge. But we've got all these things that we can help guide you on. But the whole idea is to wean you off leads, right? And then the other kind of thing is, with some of the other things that we're doing with estate planning and tax strategy planning, remember I said our average annual premium is about $750 on all those other things, $750 per year annual premium. The idea is to get to the 25,000 to 50,000 per year IULs, which we are doing through the other things that we're doing. Okay. So this is the idea, is to get out of the lead grind here, right? To get to here where you're doing professional advising through tax strategies or estate plan software, tax strategies. Okay. And this is what we're exclusively doing this. And these lead to these large IULs. But we got to start somewhere, right? So you got to start with final expense, maybe mortgage protection, and learn how to write insurance. And then we'll transition you to this. So there's a pathway to get out of being in a 40 appointment a week grind to get to where you're doing 5 appointments a week. And then you got unlimited referrals with no lead investment. And then you're averaging, a lot more per week. I'm not going to, like 25 grand a week in submitted premium on, 5 appointments. And then you're getting, I'm not going to talk about that stuff yet. Anyway, So does this give you guys an idea of where you can go with this, learning how to sell insurance? You know, you got to pay the price of learning, the learning curve, but then we got a way to get you to nirvana, which is here, right? Where you're making, 3 times the money on 1/2 or 1/3 the appointments. Okay. So that's that.